Okay, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you might be watching this on, or you might be on streamingmaniacs.tv. I have a bone to pick with a couple of manufacturers. First, we're gonna start with Rode. I have a bone to pick with Rode. And the reason why I have a bone to pick with Rode, because I like Rode, but is it just me? Or whenever these manufacturers roll out the second edition of their first edition of any product, the firmware updates on the first edition of whatever their product stops working? Let's look at Rode. Rode came out with the Wireless Go. I bought the Wireless Go, and many of you have probably bought the Wireless Go. In fact, many of you did reviews on the Wireless Go. Well, I didn't go as far as to do reviews on the Wireless Go. However, I'm a consultant, so I have recommended the Wireless Go to multiple creators in terms of how to use it, especially when it was just the single, right? Then Rode comes out with the Wireless Go 2. And when they come out with the Wireless Go 2, they do a firmware update, which allows the Wireless Go 2 to be able to record directly through the device. I thought that was an amazing innovation. But then with the Wireless Go 1, or the first edition of the Wireless Go, there was no firmware update. In fact, if you Google search or look on their website or do anything, it just doesn't allow you to do something, to me, that seems to be a foundation of the Wireless Go 2. But if you are a creator who doesn't need the Wireless Go 2, if you want that feature, you have to upgrade to the Wireless Go 2. I just don't think that's fair. Now, hey, I understand they're in the business and they got to make money. Now, let's go to the Rodecaster Pro. When it came out, loved it. Purchased one, still have it, and I like it. And of course, they had a firmware update with that as well. But then they came out with the second edition of the Rode, and I think it's amazing. I think it's a great tool. However, they're no longer doing any updates or firmware updates on the first edition. So if you're the early adopter, right, it makes you kind of second guess, well, wait, why should I buy the first edition of anything that they put out when only a month or 2 months or 8 months later, they're going to put out the same product, put a 2 behind it, and not offer you the same innovations through firmware updates? I'm not talking about hardware changes, right? I understand when you put out a new product and there's some hardware differences. Now, I will say with the Rodecaster 2, yes, it definitely looks different. So, I get it. You made a little bit of tweaks and changes in the look and the design. The Rode Wireless Go, not so much, but I've already touched on that. But those are some of my issues with manufacturers who put these products out, then make the updates, and they tell you to, hey, download the software or make sure you stay connected for the first firmware updates or whatever. But I think that's why they're working through the bugs. I think they should actually release the product as a beta and then tell you that there's bugs. They're going to do 2 or 3 releases on the software side for the firmware. And then about 6 to 8 months later, they're actually going to give you another product that's exactly the same, but with more software integration that allows you to do some advanced, configurations or recordings or whatever it is. All right, that's the audio side. Now let's talk about video and photography. I'm gonna focus more on the video side of it because we're talking about the mirrorless cameras. Now I'm a Canon user, right? I bought the Canon R and I bought the Canon RP. In fact, I'm shooting this video on the Canon RP. But Canon has rolled out, at least 8 other R series cameras, right? You have the R6, you have the R8, you have the R7, you have the R5. And so when you start looking at the price points between the different ones, let's talk about the R8. That's the newest release. In comparison, the body looks just like the RP. So when you look at the body, it looks like the RP. It has some upgraded features. There's a couple little things that are different. But when we break it all down, couldn't it just been a firmware update? Even if you charge for the firmware update, wouldn't it make more sense? And look, I'm in technology, So I kind of understand a little bit about software programs, developing and different things like that because of my background. So I kind of look at things a little different. So when I'm watching some of these reviews and it's like, hey, this camera is blah, 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 and you can take these many stills because it'll take this many per second. Okay, great. But is that more the mechanics of the camera or is that the software of the camera? Now, somebody may be able to answer that question in the comments down below. I'm definitely interested, but these are my challenges and these are my beefs with Rode and Canon. Now, I'm going to still use Rode's products and I'm still going to use Canon's products. But I think as a community of creators, we have to really ask these questions. These are the tough questions. So this is Streaming Maniacs, and because I talk about all things streaming, audio and video are related to streaming because we buy all of these different things, whether you're a vlogger, whether you're a live streamer, whether you are a podcaster, whatever it is that you do, you look for the tools to advance your workflow in a way that's going to make it easier for you to produce great content. So I'm sitting here today and I'm producing some content. I don't know if it's great, but this is a new channel. Right now, I think I have about 6 subscribers. So if you can help me out, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, subscribe to our channel. We look forward to bringing you more great content from Streaming Maniacs. Let's start asking about these firmware updates that's being promised on the front end, but then 8 months later, a year later, after one firmware update, we get a new camera or we get a new mic. Hey, subscribe to our channel and visit us at streamingmaniacs.tv. Again, at streamingmaniacs.tv. Mike Upshaw, thanks for watching.